Welcome everyone. We're going to work today on using different masking tools, and really we're going to use what are called the mask refinements to do fine selections in a model's hair inside an image so it looks nice and natural, something like this image here. So let's go ahead and let's get started. This is our final product, and let's just go ahead and let's just review what we've done here. So we're going to build up a background with the sky and the desert. We're going to go ahead, we're going to lighten that. We're going to cut out our model and her hair. And then finally, we're just going to add a little bit of color to kind of finish it all off and make it look good. So first things first, let me go ahead and close this. And we're going to just build the background first. Why don't we do that? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make a new file. It's going to be 8 by 10 at 300. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And first things first, I'm just going to move my desert image over. So let's just go ahead and let's grab our desert image and let's put it down here. Now, one of the things that I'm really stressing is we want to do all our editing non-destructively. So one of the first things we want to do when we bring it over, let's just go ahead and we are going to make this a smart object. So we're going to choose convert to smart object. And we can name it desert as well. I like naming files, especially when I come back. So first things, I'm going to hold Control T or Apple T, and I am going to scale this one down. Oops. If you hold down Alt or Option, it does it from the middle. And we're going to get it scaled down pretty good here. There we go. Now, first thing I'm going to do, I am going to go ahead and I am going to cut the sky out of this desert. Now I'm going to do this inside the smart object, so let me go ahead and we're going to close that file. And let me go into my smart object here. So here's my desert. I'm going to go ahead and I am just going to grab my quick select tool. And I am going to just brush right over our desert image here. And I'm going to go ahead and just hit layer mask. So quickly, easily, we just mask that. We just hid the sky. We're done. So let's go ahead. Let's close this. Let's hit save. The next part of this, let's go ahead and let's bring in a sky. So we're just going to drag that sky right on over, drop it right down and in. I'm going to put the sky behind the desert. And again, let's go ahead. Let's convert it to a smart object. And now I am actually going to flip this horizontal. So I'm going to go transform. Flip horizontal because I want the clouds opposite of the big hill here. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to scale things down a little bit. Oops. Let me do it one more time. Scale it down. I'm going to get the clouds over here. So now we have kind of a nice arrangement happening. We have our clouds. Let's name it. And we have our desert. Go ahead and we can close this file as well. And both of those files I got from public domain images. Now this one I got from Adobe stock because I like to use images of people and models that actually have model releases. So what we're going to do to select her, we're going to work on selecting that background. If you notice, we have a nice gray background there. And it's pretty much a solid color, not perfectly, but pretty much. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to Select, Color Range. Let me pull this over. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to click in our gray in the background here. And you notice our preview, it's showing us the selection there. So I'm going to just kind of choose a mid-gray somewhere. And if I want to, I can hold Shift. And I can add the corners to this selection. So notice when I hit that bottom corner, I have a nice selection happening here. You notice I have some of the model's face and everything. I'm not going to worry about that right now. This is a mask, so we can go ahead and change it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. So now I've loaded up a nice selection. I could start modifying this selection using like a quick mask tool, and I could start doing it here, but I'm going to show you a different way. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. We are going to make our layer mask. So I'm going to add a mask. And now with our mask tools up here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose to invert the mask. And there we go. We have our model here. And the mask looks pretty good. If I had a color behind it, you'd see like we could see through her face and everything. You guys see kind of the transparency happening there. But what we're going to do, we're going to use a tool built into Photoshop, and it's called Refine, Select, and Mask. So here we go, Select and Mask. And you notice when I pull this up, it gives us a bunch of options over here on the right, as well as some tools on the left. So this is kind of a mini interface where we can work on our selection. I can change my overlay, and I can actually turn it up so it's a darker, deeper red. And now what I can do is I have my quick select tool, and I can go back in and I can paint over my selection. So right now I'm choosing to add it. So notice as I go, just like a normal quick select tool, it is starting to get rid of that red. It's starting to choose new items. And you notice around the hair, it's going to kind of jump around, and it's okay if it misses some areas. We can try to minus out some of these areas if we want. It might not always work, but we're going to do something called refinement. We're going to fix those. So let me keep adding areas. Let's make sure to get her shoulder, make sure to get all her hair here. And if we get some extra areas, that's okay. We can always fix it. Again, this is a mask, so everything we're doing right now, we can keep changing. We want to make sure we get all the highlights in her hair. Going all the way out. These are all highlights in her hair. Now, some of these, if you want to, you could probably make your brush a little bit smaller, and I'm using the bracket keys. I'm going to minus out some of these areas. So there's one area. Another. And what we're doing is Photoshop is just reading the image and is trying to understand what exactly is happening in this image. So the more we do this, the more precise this gets, the smarter Photoshop will get. So now let's just look around and let's see this. That's partly hair there. Hair. Everything else looks good. I think we got a pretty good selection happening here. If I double click, we can kind of zoom out and look. The other neat thing in our view mode, we can change it. So we can see it on black, and we can turn that black all the way up so you see kind of the halo effect. We can also see it on white. You can see just a black and white mask. So you can tell like we're kind of getting what we like. I kind of like the overlay effect here. So now we have a good mask happening, but there's some other neat tools that we can use. We can come back in and we can use this next tool down. It's called the Refine Edge Brush tool. And if we pull up this tool and we start running along our edges and defining where her hair is transparent, Photoshop will start to read and will start to fix areas of her hair. And you'll notice it'll try to read where the background is, where the foreground is. So if we make the brush a little bit bigger and we start moving along the edges of her hair, you'll notice this mask will start to get even better as we go. And it's just refining the edge. So we're just going to move along the edge and let it make this selection. And I'm just defining areas where her hair may be going transparent. And notice how it's kind of working its magic here. And I really only want to find areas where the hair has a transparency along it so Photoshop can help build these edges. And see how it starts to pull out some of the strands here as well. There's some stray strands. A few more here and there. A couple more to go, and then we're almost there. Let's go ahead and let's move in this area. And it'll also work on this kind of rougher area right along her back. Let's see what we get there. Yep, not bad. A little bit more here and there. And there you go. So that's going to be a nice cutout. Let's go ahead and let's work around her arm up here real quick. Not a fan of that, so I'm going to undo that one. There you go. Not bad. So, as we're looking right now, you can see it is looking pretty good. We do have a halo effect happening. I'm going to show you how to fix that here in a minute. So let's look at her on black. And on black, you can really start to get this halo effect. So there's another neat tool as we work down. You can do some refinements, and these are global refinements. But further down, we have what's called decontaminate colors. And it's this decontamination that really makes the big difference. Notice when I check it, see how the edges of her hair start to look perfect? And if we go back up and we change this to our overlay, you can start to see how it's working. Oops, decontaminate, turn it back on. If we put it on white, she looks pretty good. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead, we're going to make sure it's going to make us a new layer with layer mask. So we're actually making a brand new layer when we do this. Let's click OK. So now we have our original mask, and then we have our new mask. Things are a little bit different here. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead, we're going to move her to our file. I'm going to put her on top. And again, we want to make sure nothing is destroyed, no pixels are missing in the making of this. So we're going to go ahead, we are going to turn her into a smart object. And then we are going to scale her down as well. Oops. So there we have her. Now let's zoom in, let's see. So as you see, her hair is looking really nice. We refined the mask, you can see through. It really does look as though it would fit right in here. Now a few more small tweaks and we can make a perfect image happen. So one of the things I noticed when I look at her, the lighting is real nice and strong on her. But then when we look at our Sandu here, it seems kind of weak. So what I would do is I would go ahead and make a levels adjustment. And all the levels is it's a histogram and it's showing your darks and your lights and your midtones. And we're going to go ahead and clip it to our desert. And then we're just going to drag up the shadows some, kind of darken it up. And notice as soon as I do that, the tones start to match her a little bit more. It starts to look a little bit better. Now, one more effect I like to add. I'd like to give all this a neat lighting effect. And a neat trick you can use is under your adjustments. It's called photo filter. Or no, sorry, it wasn't photo filter. I'm sorry. It was called gradient map. And gradient map, it's a weird effect. And when you first put it on, you're like, well, why do I want this? Well, a couple different reasons why you might want it. What it's doing is it's mapping all your tones to a gradient. So all my highlights are going to this white, all my blacks are going to this gray, and everything's falling in between. Now, when you click here, there's only a few weird selections, and you put that on, you're like, well, that's a weird effect. I don't know why I'd ever use that, and I really don't know why. However, there are some really neat effects of stuff we can do using a gradient map, but you have to hit the little dialog box here, and you got to open it up. And what you want to load is a photographic toning. And you just want to append it, and that's going to add it to your list. And when you do that, you get a nice list of photographic tones. So if you notice, we can find a good color to toner. So I kind of like that look. Maybe we'll turn it down a little. And notice how they all start to get a similar look to it. Not only that, you can play with different modes and see which one you like. So you might try a multiply or a burn, screen, until you find one that does kind of what you're looking for. I think I like the soft light one. And it just kind of evenly tones your whole image. Maybe not. Let's try. Multiply might work. Turn it down a little bit more. So what you're doing is you're just adding a tone over top of the image. You're trying to get a certain look. If I wanted a real strong look, we could do something like linear burn. And that's pretty much it. So what we've done, we've created a desert scene, we've turned up the contrast, we've used the refine and mask tool to cut this woman's hair out, and then we've applied a gradient map over the entire image to kind of give it a similar look and feel.